İlkay Gündoğan joins Barcelona, and what a big reinforcement for Blaugranas he actually is. In today's video, we are gonna talk about everything you need to know about this move. Let's get into it. Gündoğan is a long-time target of Barcelona. He always met the club's required profile, but after brilliant performances at Borussia Dortmund in the summer of 2016, he instead chose the offer of Manchester City. Since then, Barca have been keeping an eye on the German midfielder and finally got their chance to enjoy İlkay's incredible talent. It all started in the spring. As always, the main credit for the completed transfer goes to the unsurpassed Matteo Aleman, though Jordi Cruyff played a no less important role in the signing. The Dutchman opened talks and held several meetings with the agent. At that moment, the sports directors laid the groundwork of the player's future contract. Journalist Roger Torello shares his insider information on the negotiation process. Another issue that interested the player the most is the sporting project Barca prepared for him. That's when Xavi sprang into action. The coach explained what he expects from him in the coming season. Seems like Gündoğan was more than satisfied with what he had heard. Ter Stegen and Lewandowski were the players the midfielder consulted with before making the decision. İlkay was especially influenced by Robert, as they have been friends since they both featured for Dortmund over the years. In fact, Gündoğan always wanted to go to Barcelona and was just looking for this moment. It was easy to convince Gündoğan to join Barca, as he has been a Blaugranas fan since childhood, Fabrizio Romano noted. We haven't found any childhood photos of İlkay wearing a Barcelona shirt, but let's take the word of a super reliable transfer insider, especially since Gündoğan's idol was the current head coach of the Catalans. I adored Xavi. He was my role model and I always used to watch him anytime that I could. He was a master of the game to watch. The way that he played with Iniesta and Messi in that Barcelona side, I enjoyed watching that team and Xavi a lot, İlkay said back in 2017. But being a huge fan of the club and its stars is not always enough to make the decision to move to Camp Nou. For married footballers, their wife's opinion matters most, and luckily, everything worked out here as well. Gündoğan's wife, Sara Benamira, has spoken to her husband of her admiration of the Catalan capital for years, so that's another important reason why the transfer was eventually pulled off, despite interest from PSG, Arsenal, Borussia Dortmund, and Al Ittihad. Gündoğan's doubts were not about joining Barca or not, but about the club's FFP situation and the fear of not being able to be registered, reliable local insider Tony Juan Martí informed. The most active moves took place last week. The player's agent contacted Barca in order to arrange the transfer by June 30th. The Catalans responded with their readiness and arranged a meeting on June 21st in Munich, while İlkay waited until Man City completed the transfer of Kovacic, who is seen as his direct replacement. And just like that, the puzzle came together. The final push was Aleman's arrival in Munich on Monday, where the meeting took place. Everything is in his hands. Nothing else can be done. These were Mateo's words, which he said to Laporte before taking the flight. Barcelona journalist Javi Miguel reports. Needless to say, Gündoğan said yes to Barcelona's offer. To be even more precise, Gündoğan was extremely happy to say yes to the club, which he supported since childhood. What's important? La Liga has already approved this deal, giving Barca the opportunity to register his contract and thus taking away the Germans' main fear. The signing of the agreement took place on Monday, June 21st. According to some sources, on the same day, İlkay underwent a medical checkup. As for the contract terms, there are two different versions, which boil down to one fact. Gündoğan could spend the next 3 campaigns in the Blaugrana jersey. Some insiders state that Barcelona have agreed a 2-year deal with an option for a further 12 months with the former Manchester City captain. The third year will depend on the number of games the German may play in the 2024-25. It usually takes at least 60% of Blaugrana's fixtures. The same scheme has been done in some recent signings, Tony Juan Martí clarifies. But there is another perspective on the events. At first, Barca offered a 2-year plus 1 optional contract, but in order to convince the player, the club eventually offered a 3-year contract. shares Luis Miguel Lanz, another journalist who can be trusted. It is also worth noting Gündogan's values, namely the loyalty to his word and devotion to his dream. In the last few weeks, Manchester City, Arsenal and Al Ittihad more than doubled Barca's salary proposal for İlkay Gündoğan, but the player stayed true to his word and signed for the Catalan club. Xavi was key in convincing him with the sporting project. Mundo Deportivo reveals about the latest weeks when the footballer was showered with money. According to the info provided by the Catalan radio station RAC 1, Barca and Gündoğan have decided on salary of 9 million euros per year. Arsenal and Man City offered at least 18 million euros, while Al Ittihad went for a whopping 35 million euros, if journalist Ashraf Benayat is to be believed. Alright, dear Barcelona supporters, we think our today's hero deserves a like under this video for his strong commitment to his dream and principles. İlkay's release clause is valued at 500 million euros, so Laporta reliably protected the player from possible approaches in the near future. By contract, Barca have until the first La Liga game, August 12th, to register Gündoğan. Otherwise, he would be eligible to leave on a free, Tony Juan Martí adds. However, the probability of failed registration is very low. The footballer is expected to join the first team training on July 17th, 2 days before the US off-season tour kicks off. Gündoğan's decision has generated euphoria at the club because it was a strategic signing. Luis Miguel Sanz understands. Gündoğan was Barcelona's priority transfer. This comment here comes from Tony Juan Martí. As for now, the Barcelona office workers are having a sigh of relief and preparing for new accomplishments in the transfer market. The club really managed to acquire a footballer who will play an extremely important role in the new season and is expected to become the team's leader on the pitch in the absence of Busquets. Gündoğan ticked all the boxes for the type of versatile, experienced, competitive, goal-scoring and assisting, notes Roger Torello about the rookie's main qualities. There are certainly no players of the same caliber in the current Barcelona roster, especially in the midfield. Sure, Frankie, Gavi and Pedri are doing a brilliant job, but they will have a room to learn from such an experienced performer. Xavi considers Gündoğan to be a great addition to the squad for the most crucial matches of the season. The coaching staff is very pleased with the signing of Gündoğan, reinforcement for the Champions League, they say in the dressing room. Javi Miguel reveals the team's overall mood towards the arrival of the German. Gündoğan is an element Xavi was sorely lacking in this squad, especially when literally suffered last season as soon as Pedri was out of the lineup. Gündoğan's arrival is a relief for Xavi. In some matches, the German can play as a defensive midfielder and also give rest to Pedri, who is very prone to injuries. Pundits explain. Gündoğan is known to be a leader, a player who possesses a great character. Here's what Kevin De Bruyne had to say about his ex-captain ahead of the Champions League final. He's not the loudest player, but he is exceptional. Whenever it gets tough, he's there. He scores incredible goals. He is important. He is our captain. One thing Kevin got wrong at this point, İlkay is not the Man City captain anymore. If Barca sign him, they will have a spectacular footballer on their hands. I am aware Xavi has called him a lot. If, in the end, he picks Barca, I will tell him he will enjoy himself. Guardiola said on Monday, and now Barcelona will enjoy Gündoğan indeed. Barcelona got themselves a fantastic footballer, a missing puzzle, who already, in any case, saved the upcoming season, since İlkay can become a direct replacement for Busquets and fulfill the most problematic position in the starting lineup. Barca's midfield is looking stacked, wrote Talk FCB, and we cannot disagree with them. Gündoğan could play as the only defensive midfielder and in a pair with Frankie de Jong. Moreover, the German can take the duties of both a central midfielder and an attacking central midfielder. He is a perfect all-rounder. No matter where you put him, he will give you quality everywhere. Xavi is a real lucky guy in this case. There will be no problems with adaptation either. Here's a quite telling example of Gündoğan's game intelligence. Gündoğan only needed one explanation and one training session from Pep to understand what was required of him. He's played all positions in midfield. He is very intelligent. He played differently at Borussia Dortmund under Klopp, but he adapted well. It's important to have such a player in the dressing room. Pep doesn't give the captain's armband to just anyone. Frankie can easily play alongside Gündoğan as a defender. In his first years at City, Gündoğan played the role of Busquets. Guardiola's former right-hand man, Dominic Torrent, told in an interview with Gerard Romero, "No wonder why this transfer looks ideal for Barcelona. We believe Gündoğan is made for Barcelona football, and therefore we should expect great accomplishment from İlkay in the Blaugranas jersey. It's only just begun." Alaman claims about Gündoğan's transfer, and we do realize how massively Barcelona will try to bolster its squad. Friends, give us a like if you want us to make a video about Barcelona's upcoming transfers and what sort of a team Xavi will build without Messi. As soon as we are getting over 1,000 likes, we are starting to work on this video right away. Subscribe to Inside Football and stay tuned to our channel and check out more videos like the one about 18-year-old Mikhail Faye, a little-known football beast recently signed by Barcelona, who is capable of shocking everyone in the next season.